OTAN, Outreach and Technical Assistance Network.
Welcome to our presentation on formative assessments, engaging digital tools for adult learners. My name is Laura, and we're presenting together, these lovely ladies.
Yeah, my name is Vela, and I am a beginning literacy teacher. You know, that's my population. And Laura, what level?
I'm in the mid. I'm like mid to low to high, depends. Multi-level is technically the term in my class.
I'm Mariana Silva, and I typically teach intermediate level conversation or reading and writing, and level 6, which is an advanced level for us. We all teach at MiraCosta, and some of us in other places too.
Yeah. And we have a lot of slides. I'm not sure if we're going to get to all of them today, but you guys have the handout with all of the information that we would like to cover. It's also at the last part of the presentation. All the links are also there. They're hyperlinked, so if you have time after this and interest, you can always go and do that. So let's see, the second slide, I think we are just kind of getting to know each other and discussing our thoughts. So where do you teach, what modality, define formative assessments, maybe give an example, and what formative assessments have you used. So it could be a digital formative assessment or assessment that you use in class, whatever modality. But maybe we can connect, you know, like 3 or 4 right here. You're kind of in the vicinity. Maybe if you know each other, you can skip question 1 and just talk about formative assessments. You're like, oh, I never knew that, right? And that's why we're here, to get more information to help our teaching and help our students. And I think most of us, for formative assessments, we were over here and they were like, I ask my students to repeat or to listen to what I'm saying, and then they give me verbal feedback. That's formative assessment right there, right? And I think another thing when we're thinking about digital tools is that we want something that's easy, that doesn't require like some sign-in stuff with a password and a username because it gets complicated. And we also kind of want to stick to things that are free. And now with all this AI coming out, how can we get that to our students as well, right? So
what we're going to do in this presentation, because we're at a digital symposium, we thought of just covering the digital tools. And this could be good not just for online teaching or hybrid teaching, but in-person teaching, because they're, as Laura said, they're easy to use, and usually they don't require any student login. So it's very user-friendly on the phone, so it's easy access, right? So hopefully, we know you're passionate educators, but hopefully you're going to get to learn something new or refresh some other tools or learn features of other tools that you may not have explored. So before we get to the tools, we're going to take a look at what and why. Why do we use formative assessments? What are they? Just quickly, we know you're already familiar with that. We're going to explore, the chunk of our presentation will focus on exploring digital formative assessment tools. Checking for students' comprehension obviously goes along with the second bullet point there, the second check mark. And why we do it plays a huge role, right? Lowering the affective filter for our students. So just a little bit of review of what their formative assessments. We use them to monitor students' learning. We provide ongoing feedback to our students so they know whether they're on the right track or not. We use the formative assessments to identify strengths and areas of improvement, enable students to work on their self-regulatory skills and make adjustments to our teaching, reteach, teach in a different way, or have a different approach. I wanted to bring a little bit of research here. So I got this quote from CDE, California Department of Education. I feel like it's kind of moving.
Yeah,
like that.
there's a shake.
No earthquake, right?
No, I think it's from the.
Okay.
I think it's from the heater.
Sorry about that. That's the bad thing about this room, because the air pipe.
Yeah, it's the heater.
Oh, okay.
It's shaking
Okay.
it. Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
had
no
a moment.
worries.
I'm like, is it me? Okay. Thank you.
I'm so nervous right now.
So formative assessments, we think of them as a process in the learning, a deliberate process that takes place during instruction and not a test, right? We do it so we can get a lot of information and see how we can adjust that information. Based on research, there are 4 main attributes of formative assessments. Clarify intended learning. Are they learning or not? What do I need to do? A lot of reflection, right, for teachers. Elicit evidence from the students, interpret that evidence, and then act upon it. The why of the formative assessments, we pretty much discussed this, right? It's not just a number in a grade book. It's a process that informs our teaching, informs the students' learning, and the adjustments that we can make. Both students and teachers feel empowered, right? Students feel empowered taking charge of their own learning. Teachers can make their own decisions about what happens next.
But this model, I don't know if you're familiar with WIPIA model. Are you familiar with WIPIA model? This is great to memorize as you are, creating your lessons, which is this. This is WIPIA model stands for you begin with a warm-up, right? In a lesson that is lengthy, right? Warm-up, just what we did here, right? Introduction, what Mariana and Laura were talking about, and now we're presenting. Then we're gonna practice if we have time, evaluate, and then apply the content, the skill that we wanna see students show. So this is just, a great model that can just be very, very helpful when you are creating your lessons. Anybody has any questions? Do you guys use this? Yes, yes, when you are creating, when you're in the process of creating lessons, yeah?
It allows me to work smart instead of working hard.
Exactly. Right. Just memorize, okay, so what do I need to do first? How do I introduce, let's say, AI to my beginning literacy? And then introduction to AI. And then present. I create content, visuals, so I can, teach that content. And then practice. Now show me if you're, if we're understanding the concept. And then evaluation, which is, maybe you can prompt AI to, give you an answer to something. And then, application, which is the skill that we want students transfer in their daily life beyond the classroom. So great thing to always, think about the WIPIA model as you create any lessons, pretty much.
Chris, can I add something?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The reason why we put this slide here is because we felt like you could use these formative assessments at any stage in your lesson plan. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's a great thing to add here, yes. So we're gonna be giving you an introduction to some of these digital tools. I was actually talking to some of you about what you guys use in your classes, and we use the traditional, formative assessments before technology got into our classrooms, ask, questions or do dictation or use a board. That's typically what we know how to do, but there is so much out there that can save you so much time, and it can be, engaging and fun, and it's something new. So we're gonna be giving you a list of the quizzes and games that are all free. And if you can see, we have smiley faces here because they are easy to use, right? No student login required. Yes, please. Independent study or group work. You can, create some of these activities using these quizzes, engaging and leading. Well, use at any stage of the lesson with PM model. And then engaging, leading to persistent, effective in any teaching modality. So we'll be presenting you some quizzes, games, student practice, surveys, polls, video quizzes. So please don't be overwhelmed. Like Mr. Joe Marquez said in that presentation yesterday, just pick one, and forget about the rest. This is great. You'll have the slides, so you can, next month you can go back and see, I want to try something new. Let me check this session that I went to, the TDLS. Yeah. Anyway, so let's go to the next one. So the first one is low-stake quizzes. So I think some of you use, I heard some of you using Kahoot. Kahoot has been here for a while, and it's fun. The only thing I don't like about Kahoot is that sometimes, it creates like the speed in which you respond an answer is rewarded instead of, the actual response. So you will get, so that's the thing. Like it takes me a little while to process the language, but I still got it correctly. It still doesn't reward me.
Or
I want my star.
Sometimes it could be internet, right? Sometimes it's internet connection, right? So a student being behind because of that.
But just a disclaimer, students, I know this tool is going to assess how fast you answer a question. But for those of you who are not very fast, that's okay. You got the correct answer, and that's also applauded. That's good. That's what I would change from Kahoot. Quia, I haven't used that, but I know some of my colleagues have used that. They can talk to you about it. Quizlet, are you familiar with Quizlet? Yeah, Quizlet is very good. Excellent. Quizzes, yes. And then Bluket. Oh yeah, Bluket. I haven't used this one.
Middle schoolers love it. They steal gold. They do code hacking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Math, definitely I prefer.
Oh my gosh.
Is the best.
Yep.
Bluket. I'm gonna have to.
Because there is a conversation between them and then they just
I'll talk about it because I use it in my class.
I want to use that, so that's gonna be my
Does anybody use that for adult ed?
Adult ed, yes.
yes.
They have grammar.
She
rules,
does.
Pronunciation. I haven't used vocabulary yet, but there's also things that are pre-made for you that you can apply or you can create. on your own.
Pre-made
Oh,
too?
yeah. Time saving.
I like that.
And they like it, and the students really enjoy playing.
Yes. And then this one is beautiful. I've tried it once, but I just haven't had a chance to continue exploring. But Word Wall, are you familiar with that? Oh, it's beautiful. So we'll talk about, all of these. Maybe we'll go a little faster on the ones that you already are using, but we'll spend a little extra time and, we'll give you a chance to ask questions about the ones that you're not very familiar with. Next one is, yes, so this is Quia, and I think my colleague Laura is going to talk to you about. Have you used Quia?
Yeah.
What?
It's been around a really long time. And it's free, and it has created materials as well. And you can see here that it has various options for you to choose from. It's free as a teacher, and the students don't log in. You can share screen and have them participate. The one that I've used several times happens to be titled Rags to Riches. It's a millionaire style. As you can see, they start at the bottom and they reach the $1 million mark. And you can use it in person or online, having the students have a card, like a piece of paper that says A, B, C, or D, and they read the question at the top and they decide what the right answer is. And then we collectively show what answer everybody thinks, so you get to see the mixes of comprehension, and then you can stop and talk about why the answer is what it is. And then you click the answer and you go up as a class. Super easy, free, and they enjoy it as an in-person activity. I put them in groups of 4. They have to converse and decide together what the answer is, which is also sharing and learning through coworker classmates.
I just want to add a
Yeah.
little bit of things
Sure.
here. Because I'm a beginning literacy teacher, I know this could be challenging for my students, even though it's easier on our end to, just logging in and play with it. But I think a good best practice would be, telling students up front, hey, we're going to try a new game. The first time it might be a little confusing and you have to adjust, but let's try it again the second time and then maybe the third time. So then they kind of get used to of what they need to do, especially if it's a new tool for limited English learners. So always put that in mind when you are introducing a new tool, even if it's the easiest tool that you use. Just a little.
A couple of questions.
Oh yeah.
So I was a little confused by what you just said. So
Yeah.
the students aren't on devices?
No.
You're just reading it to
Yes.
the class and they're doing it
Correct.
like
Correct.
on paper. Okay.
Yeah, as an in-person, I would have it projected at the front. If I were on Zoom, I'd have it as a screen, and then everybody's either on Zoom. If they don't want to participate with their cameras, they can put it in the chat.
Okay, got it.
So there's no way they can join it using their digital tool. It's gonna be just you doing it.
This is totally led by me because I want to see what they know, right? I want to do this formative assessment, this formative check. Then you can see here, this one was prepositions in, at, and on, which they could use tons of practice with because they're super tricky, right? So this one particularly I really enjoy because it's easy and you get that instant feedback, right? It's called rags to riches. So yeah, I'm going to talk quickly about BlueKit because I do love BlueKit. It's a game competition based, and it's usually used in middle schools and high schools, but I've used it in my and adults need to have fun too, right? So they're stealing. I use the fish frenzy. They're fishing for different types of animals, which is also introduction to vocabulary like frog and jellyfish, right? Which maybe doesn't come up often in your class. And you can see here that you can select the type of game. What I just talked about was fishing frenzy. She talked about the gold quest, where they steal each other's money. And they kind of get excited. They're like, who stole my money, right? And there are other, classic is like Kahoot, where they're all answering at the same time. Okay. The reason why I like this also is that they're individually answering on their cell phones. So again, if someone's at a higher level differentiation, they're getting more questions. If we're at a slower pace, they're processing it at a slower time. It does give points where I see your, like the caveat there, but they're individually processing the information at their own speed, and they're getting feedback in the moment, like wrong, and it gives them the answer so they can try again the next time.
Do we have time to try, like, you all being the students and then you
No, because I want her to talk about the AI.
Okay,
you and I can do it later.
Does it have to be a phone? Can you use Chromebook?
You can use, yeah. And, it's free. And there's no student cap, which Kahoot has a 20 limit for the free version. It's a 20 limit student entry. This one doesn't have a cap, and it's free. Oh, did you not know that for Kahoot?
I've been playing it with more than 20 students.
My institution doesn't happen to have a subscription. So when I had 36 students, they're like, teacher, I can't get in. I'm like, oh, it's a 20 limit, at least the way that I use it. So I'm going to hand it off to Mariana, and she's going to talk about Quizlet.
Can you raise your hand if you're familiar with Quizlet? I figured you do. I've used it for a long time. But do you know you have some cool AI in it? How many of you know about this? I tested it recently. I'm like, when did this pop up on my Quizlet? Because I use it on a weekly basis and not just once a week. So this is amazing. I'm going to demo you quickly to see what it looks like. Where is my Quizlet? Because I did open it.
It's the first one, Maria. Yeah, there it is.
Yes.
Yeah, it's lined up.
So when you log in, right, and I just have my MiraCosta email, right, but I don't think it's still the free version. I don't have an upgrade. I don't pay for it, right? At the top right there, you can see generate. Let's see what it does. I told these ladies recently, and we were all mesmerized by it. And I haven't tried it a whole lot, but I did try it. So here what it does, you can paste text, you can upload a file, Google Docs, videos. For this demo, I'm going to get just a quick link from a video, any YouTube, so you can see how it's working, because it just stunned me. I'm like, oh, this is free AI. Oh, sorry. What do we search for? I did this with my students. We were talking about endangered species. And there is this TED Talk. It's called Why I Love Vultures, this guy. So just any URL. Okay. And I'm going to paste it here. See what it does for me. What is it? Oh, I didn't put video. Sorry. Okay, there. I was too fast for AI. And it's creating our magic notes.
Abracadabra. Alakazam.
But it's pretty fast. Look at this, colleagues. You have an outline, and it's pretty good because I know I looked at a few. I like the headings, right? Like you can see, you can skim through, right? You don't have to read everything, but you can skim through. And look at the many options it has on the right. So that's the outline we're looking at. We have flashcards, right? Just the regular flashcards. We have, oh, sorry. Again, I'm too fast sometimes. Sample essay questions.
Yeah, I
And
know.
then it's giving you more based on that URL. How quick. I just discovered this and I was like, we need to talk about this. Cindy?
So this information is really based on the video itself?
Yes, everything is based on the video. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, she's used it, and we practiced with this one, and she said this is accurate as to what we practiced in class. So
The same thing it does if you, and it has this Q chat. Look what the Q chat does. So all those options. I love the section about academic integrity. Ask your instructor, right? And try to use it wisely. I was like, okay, I like this, right? Let's see what it does for us. So based on the video, right, anything you uploaded there, it's trying to get you to teach the new vocabulary, right? So it says, what is biodiversity? And I try to play with it. I'm like, I don't know, give me a hint. Right? And it's based on that because you see the keyword vultures right there. Maybe you type something wrong, it's telling you, try again. It's really cool. What did I want to say? The same thing works if you, let me try to go back. What is that? Oh, an ad. So same thing works if you upload a file from the computer. I tried it with, let's see, I can open this quickly so you can have an idea there. But you can try it and discover a bunch of things.
Syllabus maybe?
What if it was like really low ESL, like a story or something like that? It would just come up with questions about that material.
Yes.
Right?
yeah.
Yes, so everything is like kind of generating a full lesson plan basically on that, right? Oh, it says from my computer. I'm just going to say Google Docs.
Let
Maybe
me
I
add
can.
this. Or you can make your own videos, like, hello, my name is blah, blah, blah. And then you can put, and then students can see you, and then this thing can generate questions about your own video, which makes it even more personalized, humanized, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, I see many possibilities. I have a lot of low beginning videos that I have created, so I'm going to be using that. Thank you very much, Mariana.
I don't know what document I selected, so I hope I didn't select.
Hopefully,
I hope I didn't select.
it's school related, right?
Oh, I think I did. I
That's
think
okay.
I didn't have anything.
That's all right.
So anyway, you get the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
It's very cool. I did attend, I don't want to say much, but I did attend a really cool AI presentation yesterday, but it's expensive. So for me, I hear things and I'm excited, but then I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like excited and then just kind of deflate. I'm like, oh, I can't do this. It's too pricey. But this is free, right? Just like chat. So hopefully you give it a shot. And next time you give us a full presentation on different other cool ideas on how to use it. Hopefully that was a new thing that you could take away.
If
Yes.
you upload the Google Docs or even the one that you were doing before where you generated something, can the students write, they can actually write in the document, they can answer the questions and things like that?
I am not sure. I haven't tried that.
Okay.
And I'm curious to see, like, I asked some of my students to test it and see how it's working. So I haven't done a whole lot of work. I discovered it recently, and I kind of played with it by myself.
But the Q chat, they could.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the interactive one where they type right in. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
One little question though.
Yes.
So I tried to log in, I forgot my link and the username and everything, and then they sent me, there is a purchase price, there's a group price, and then there is a free trial.
For
It
Quizlet?
Yes, it ends in April 1st right now.
Oh.
So maybe that's through
I've
the
had
school.
Quizlet for a long time, so I don't know if
Is
this.
it like a Kahoot now because they see people are using it?
And there,
Who
that's
buys it now?
well,
It
that's what I
could
was
be.
thinking.
They're gonna charge.
But I would say check if you select educator, if that's free. Again, this is not an upgraded version I'm using. This is just the basic version, but I've had it for a long time, so I don't know. I've heard similar things about Padlet. I have unlimited Padlet access. I don't know if it's maybe because I've had it for a long time and their settings were different, and as you said, people started using them and they're changing. I don't have the answer.
Watch out.
But,
Yeah, be careful. Especially if you do the free trial and you forget when your free trial ends, and then you're like, oh.
The next tool, maybe most of you are familiar with it, quizzes. Are you? Yeah? So it's somewhat similar to Kahoot, right? You can create different quizzes, or you can just curate. There are a bunch of them created for you. So once you create an account, it's going to look something like this. The lightning bolt, guess what? It's premium, right? So you cannot really access that unless you pay for it. I don't remember how much the fee is because I don't sign up for that. I'm all for free stuff. But there are different activities that you can do without the premium account, just the basic account. It has a lot of grammar, vocabulary, reading comprehension. So it's pretty nice to explore. It's very similar to Kahoot, right? In that sense.
Competition-based.
Competition-based.
Correct.
You can just do it at different times. Students can join at any time and at their own pace.
Yeah.
You can
Still
even
get the points and things, but they don't have to compete with others at the same time. That's what's really
you can even assign it as homework, right?
Yeah.
Word wall, anybody familiar with it? I learned this from one of my coworkers recently. You are limited in how many you can create with a free account, but there are a lot of also curated or pre-made activities. So basically, let's say you do like, I often do the ED pronunciation because I know that's a hot topic, right? I struggled with that as a student before too. So if you create that or you find it online, then you have all these options that you can have that game played in different ways, right? So you can have a matchup, you can have a random wheel, you can have, the students really like the game show quiz because it's really like a TV game. Boom, boom, you hear 3, 2, 1, go. And they're excited, right? It's fun. It really makes students feel like they're empowered, as we said earlier, and they learn by having fun. I don't think we have time to explore all these, but we just, again, we have the links at the end if you want to explore all of them. We kind of picked one from each category to demo a little bit. Any questions about this one? Again, you can, on different skills, you can create these games or just copy one that is already created and added it, so.
Yeah, so these are great choices to get students' feedback because, you know, students like feedback. I like feedback if I'm doing something, and you'll give us feedback at the end of the presentation. So we want to know if we did good, maybe not, so I can improve, so students can improve. So these are, these are options and multiple ways to practice either grammar or reading or writing. So we have live worksheets. Are you familiar with that? Maybe? Mm-hmm. Yes, very good. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Test English. Anybody? This is great for grammar. Perfect English grammar. Pronto. This is what I use a lot. Pronto for my beginning literacy students. Our district has Pronto integrated into Canvas. I know some districts under the K through 12 umbrella not necessarily have access to Pronto, but I use a lot of Pronto. Pronto is just texting and /chat app, just like WhatsApp. And our students are very familiar with WhatsApp. They communicate with their families overseas with WhatsApp. So why not using a tool that mimics something that they already know? So that's why I love Pronto. Pronto is great. You know, you can ask students to introduce themselves, using the voice recording feature from Pronto. So I use this a lot in my conversation class. I have a conversation class. So, again, feedback. I give feedback to students, and they also do the formative assessment. So I can, if I ask them, hey, how was your week? So we are practicing, simple past. So then, I can get students recording. Yes, Cindy?
Chris, is that part of Canvas, Pronto?
Yes, it is, yeah.
And we're going to look at that. We have a slide on that too.
A slide on Pronto. And then Canvas Studio, I know some districts don't have this feature. My district has Canvas Studio, which is a feature that allows students to record themselves and submit through Canvas, all in Canvas. It is great. You know, I've used it with my beginning students. I record myself, what is your first name? And then the submission has to be a video. They can either show their faces or not. It gives you the options to give, you know, to record just your voice or, you know, your entire face. So it's great, you know, for that speaking and that listening skills if you want to assess that. And then, of course, Zoom features. Oh, if you're using Zoom already, just try to use everything that Zoom has to offer. So you don't have to be out and, you know, bring in other new tools. Zoom features are great. If you teach students how to use the Zoom toolbar, you can get a lot of engagement because they'll feel comfortable to annotate or to chat, to give you the answer in the chat, or take a picture of what they already wrote and then put it in on the chat, the Zoom chat. So I would concentrate a lot if you're already using Zoom. Zoom has a lot of things to offer, and why not learning from something that you are already using. So this is live worksheets. So live worksheets test English and perfect English grammar. You know, you have the logos here. So when you're looking and, you know, drinking your cup of coffee, looking for these tools, you know, these are great because they foster independent work. These are like beyond the class type practice. You know, it corrects and, you know, an answer instantly. You know, all of the, well, actually, yes.
Yes.
This one, yes, yeah. I haven't used it for a while.
They can check their answers, right, in the live worksheets. There is a lot of fill in the blanks, and then at the end they can check their answers. There is a button, check my answers, or even submit to my teacher or share with my teacher.
Yes.
Live worksheets, yes.
Yes.
Test English the same.
Yes.
And we were using live worksheets a lot, especially when the pandemic started and we're just trying to figure things out. And it's so easy because a lot of materials are already created. So you can.
Yes.
Sorry, you have a question?
I can create on my own worksheet
Yes, you
Yes.
can create your own worksheets or you can reuse others.
on both, all of them, I can create my own.
The test
No,
English?
Test English is all there. It's grammar, vocabulary, listening, reading. It has all the skills, and it's divided by level. So A, A1, B, B1, things like that. But you can't create. But it's
Yeah.
very well organized, and like she said, the students get to practice what they want. So you're giving them choice, and then as they're processing the information and putting in their answers, they click the correct or check my answers, and it gives them instant feedback and why they got it wrong, which is what I love about it. It's like, okay, you got it wrong, but why? And it explains it, and it also gives them a document to the grammar that explains the grammar too. So there are several options. That's why I personally like Test English.
And the perfect English grammar, you also cannot create your own worksheets, but what it does, they have explanations, and then they have worksheets that you could either print for the students or have a PDF file, or they could just type their answers. They get instant feedback. And I love their infographics. You know, when you try to explain to students, this is past simple, we use it for this, we use it for this, or especially present perfect, that could be crazy, right? Like, hey, you said unfinished actions, but it's also recent action, it's also life events. So very nice infographics, just one page showing an example, adverbs of time used with that, and what they express. Very quick, one page. My students have loved those, especially if they're visual learners, you know?
Yes, and the most important part about all of this is that it gives instant feedback. Kind of like Duolingo. I don't know if you're learning with Duolingo. I love, you know, just instant feedback. Tell me if I'm doing it correctly. So I like that as a learner, and you know, your learners will love this if you offer them. These are some options. Perhaps you can start with one, because again, if you're teaching English language learners, this is overwhelming. I mean, this is overwhelming for me. Imagine for your students. So maybe you can introduce something, play around with one of these and see which would fit best for your class, and then introduce that. Hey, students, we're gonna learn about this cool tool, and this is what you should be expecting. And so, yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So with these, is that
Can we pop into one right now and
Because I was
show
just
you
wondering,
really
like,
quickly?
if they do these, an assessment on
Which
their
one do
own,
you wanna
they're
do, the
supposed to
testing?
share with the teacher, share with us.
Yes, for live worksheets, yes, they have the option to email your answers to your teacher, and it's just, yeah. They can send that information to you. And this is test English.
So they come in, for example, this is the be verb for A1s, and then they click, are you a teacher? Yes, I are. And they come down and they check their answers, and it says 0 out of 10, and it tells you why. And then it's for each answer, right? They also have, for each one, they have multiple exercises. So this is choice. They have text type, fill in the blanks, contractions are here, and
Yeah.
this one's fill in the blank. And then you can always do a screenshot or something like that. And then here's the explanation of the grammar right here.
Yeah.
How do they actually access this? Do you embed this in your classroom?
It's linked as a hyperlink in my Canvas course. When we're in the computer lab, I actually have them do 30 minutes of independent practice. But you could use it as an assessment too if you wanted to formally assess. And you can see it's vocabulary based. There's listening, reading, writing. I use the grammar portion mostly.
Don't you have sometimes students who teacher grammar? There's always one student who wants grammar. So this would be great for them to
And you
to
can
have
see I
that
just
practice.
typed test English and I popped right in. There's no sign in. There's no login for the students or for myself.
Awesome. So any questions so far? I think the next one is Pronto, and I think we have a great class here. This is not my picture, but this is...
This is my class.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, as I said earlier, I use Pronto with my beginning literacy class, and it's such a great and user-friendly tool for them as well once you introduce them and see how it works. Because once students know how it works, and then you start building that community by, asking, hey, how are you doing this week? Or how was your weekend? Then students start opening up and start sharing, about their day, pictures with their classmates. The only thing you probably need to be careful is what is the culture in the digital environment? What kind of things they're allowed to share? So maybe talking a little bit about the netiquette, which is the rules of, when you're texting, how much information you should be, sharing, what type of pictures you should be sharing.
But I want to add to that, Chris, also, so because it's embedded in Canvas, right? It's very private, and it fosters privacy a lot. And security as well. So if something were to happen, if a student sends you like a text that is inappropriate or there is any discussion, we can track those because it's not an off-site thing. Yeah, it's embedded in Canvas. And we can use it for exit tickets. I like to do that with the students, but especially the community beyond the classroom. Students just love connecting, and you cannot see anybody's phone number.
Exactly.
Which sometimes students say, can we create a WhatsApp group? I'm like, oh, no. And you know how tedious that is, right? Adding everybody's number, if you missed a digit, is all messed up, right? But this is, everybody who is a student will immediately have access to it. It actually looks like this in our Pronto. Again, as Chris said, it depends on your institution, but if you use Canvas, how many of you use Canvas? And then if they want to adapt it, maybe tell them, like they've noticed a lot of persistence in the students because we communicate with them. It also declutters your email because students, oh, I missed my homework, or what did you do in class today? And somebody else can respond, so you don't have to really respond to so many other students. So that's the Pronto. So they all have access to it here, but obviously we encourage them to download the app because it's for easy access. And usually they communicate very well saying, I'm sorry, I'm running late, or whatever happened. So it's nice to get that from the students. I had somebody do a presentation in my class about the environment. So they were all so engaged there. And I posted the pictures and they were all so happy because I took pictures of the event, and then they were so excited, right, that they were part of that community, and it was so easy to share that right away. Sorry, Chris. It's a texting tool.
Texting.
It's kind of what you do with any communication app,
Messenger.
right? But you can also do videos. So I had a couple of students who wanted like a more confidential talk to me. And I said, okay, do you want to meet at 4 p.m.? Okay, open your pronto, I'm going to call you. And it's kind of a Zoom call, right? Obviously not with screen sharing because it's just kind of a smaller app. But it was nice that the students got off their problems.
Is the default setting is just between you and student, or default setting is everybody?
Very good question. So it's the group per class, per course, but also you can text everybody, or you could choose private messages with the teacher or any other student. So student,
Private message between
yes,
students.
yes.
So you can see the private
I cannot see the private messages
between the students.
between the student. I cannot, yeah. So it could be very private in that sense. So if student A texts students B, I cannot see that. If one student texts to the entire group, I can see that. If I have a private message with a student, it's only me and the student who sees that. And they like that because
Yeah, just make sure and cautious, like just tell them how to text privately. You don't want, anybody exposing things. So when you're introducing this tool, just be very upfront. This is how it works, and these are how we're gonna be rolling in this class. If you want a private message, this is how you do it. So they know, if they wanna, share something very private. Yeah. Remind, yes.
It is like-
Competition.
yes,
3 minutes.
we have 3
yes.
minutes. So
I don't know if I
another
like
tool
mine.
we have is
Canvas Studio.
Canvas
So
Studio.
Canvas Studio is great. It is an integrated feature in Canvas. It is not available to all districts, I have found out, but it is such a great tool. You can make videos with, and make quizzes, and then students have to submit through video. Or you can do a lecture in Canvas Studio, and then they can revise it later. I mean, everything is in there. You don't need to go to any other tool to create a video. You can make your own videos using Canvas Studio instead of doing a video in Zoom per se. So everything is all integrated in one place. So great tool for getting students to send out videos talking, and you can assess their speaking, their listening, and so.
You can also upload, for example, any other video, a YouTube video you like, and create a quiz on that. So instead of having the students watch a 3-minute video with no pause, they may not listen towards the end of it. This way you pause and you create some questions, and so the video pauses and the students are prompted with a question, and then they have to come up with the answer. It also has amazing automatic captioning that you can also add it, because sometimes it doesn't perceive students' names or names in general very well, right? We say MiraCosta, God knows what is coming up there. It's not MiraCosta. I use it a lot to trim and edit videos. I do some videos for teachers, so I like to record those, and I'm like, okay, how do I do that cool highlight? And it gives me those tools. Very user-friendly, because I'm not such a video person, but I've learned a lot with it. Chris, did you want to?
Yeah. No, I think
we
it's all
only
good.
have a minute, so Zoom, I think you pretty much.
Yes, we covered the Zoom. I would just give you a piece of advice. Like if you're going to be using Zoom, just use. Well, if you're already using Zoom, I would give you the advice of just exploring all the features. And one of the cool features is the whiteboard templates. If your students know how to annotate, you can pretty much test them right in there. Okay, such and such. I want you to give me the answer, or circle the answer, or underline the verb, whatever. So, and you also have templates, if you're doing anything with the KWL chart, what you know, so students can start as a group texting over here or writing over here, or So there's many ways to get that interaction using Zoom. Again, students need to be aware of how to, use their Zoom toolbar in order for them to show you their, their engagement there. What else? Annotate polls in Zoom, live reactions. These are all ways to prompt students, okay, get that engagement going. Tell me what you know, how you feel, the constant asking, and, the same tool. So I think that
we have a lot of surveys, polls, if you want to explore. We already did Mentimeter together. Pear Deck, have you heard of this? Yeah. It's an extension to Google, and it's very interactive. So you can have a slide in the middle of many other slides and ask for students' feedback. Very cool tool. Answer Garden, no login. Ask a question and students will answer. I do my mid-term feedback with this, and students love it because I just put the link and say, in 2 words, describe the class. And that's all they do. And it's anonymous. It doesn't show who did it, so it's really cool.
So
Pear Deck, you can explore Padlet, some cool videos with a lot of AI, ESL video. Our colleague Ryan is the creator of that website. So you have listening comprehension or watching comprehension videos. And we don't want to keep your attention more. So hopefully you learned something new. Thank you for your patience with us. And